Hello everyone, Kenji Tiger here with Bengali Engineering and Play. We are, as you can see, back in Space Engineers. This is part 2 of my experimenting with torpedoes. Now, one of the things to consider here is that, well, I don't have any way to deliver said torpedoes. So the experimentation with torpedoes is not only going to include torpedoes, but actually building a bomber, which hopefully we will be able to deliver those torpedoes with. So we're going to do a lot of things. So this is probably going to be a 3 or 4 part series in trying to figure out not only how to carry said torpedoes from point A to point Z, but also experimenting with the torpedoes themselves, building them, figuring out what is the best build, what can we do, and we're just going to have some fun here. So I am in survival mode. But it's survival mode with Space Master turned on, so it's really creative survival mode. So the reason I do that is because there's a lot of dynamics in the game engine itself that just function well in survival and function strangely in creative. So creative is great and fun and dandy for building things, but if you actually want all these things to work as intended, then sometimes it's a little strange. So I do the survival mode because I like having the inventory controls, so I can build the correct type of inventory and such into my builds. And so anyway, what I wanted to do is show you. We broke last time, if you remember. Let me bring up the correct pages here. Bring this onto the screen, and because this screen is UHD, then let's zoom in here so you can actually see what this looks like. So hopefully you can read the text up here. So this is Digi's workshop, and this is the Aerodynamics wing block mod, which includes his script for basically wings. That's really kind of the way to do it. I mean, it's not really truly lift in the same kind of physics being physics, which is really to say space engineers physics being space engineers physics. Things don't work exactly as they would in the real world. So as Digi describes much more eloquently than I could, the lift in Space Engineers, which is really to say the force applied by thrusters in Space Engineers, are applied to the center of mass. That is not always, and in fact in the real world that's not how things would play. Obviously if you had non-symmetrical thrust, then you would have twisting and turning and that sort of thing that you may not actually want. So to solve some of those problems, then all thrust, all force applied to a grid is applied to the grid's center of mass. So anyway, Digi carried that forward with the lift principle. So just like lift acts on the grid like a thruster force, so blah blah blah, physics 101 stuff, or space engineers physics 101 stuff, and I'll let you read more about that because Digi has provided this this incredible mod. Now if you look here, current subscribers, okay, there's almost 60,000 subscribers. If that says anything about the usefulness of this mod, I don't know what does. Alright, there's a addition to this mod, which is called plane parts. Takashi's workshop is where you can find this, and it's just called plane parts. Now it adds a lot of different parts to the world here, and you can see some of these as they're flashing across the screen. This works both independently of and together with Digi's Aerodynamics mod. So you do not have to have Digi's mod running for this to work. The script, Takashi worked with Digi, got Digi's permission to use the same script for the wings in this one, and so you do not need Digi's to make this work, but it's based on Digi's work. So here's a close-up of all the different wings, which is, they're kind of cool. A lot of flexibility here. The reason for our break last time was literally to load in these mods because I'm having to make wings, and they might as well be wings that are practical in use. So I thought I would go ahead and just load up these two mods. I need wings, and they might as well be of some use. So eventually we'll hang stuff off of them and see where they go. So I have never built anything with these before, so this is just part of the experimentation. So we should have some fun. So anyway, this is just wanted to show you those two things available on the Steam Workshop for you. And now loaded into our world here. So we do not have them placed anywhere, so let's go ahead and Control 8. I truly have no idea what I'm looking at. So large block torpedoes, nanites, aerodynamic blocks. Okay, so these are Digis. Digi and Takashi. Oh my, there's a whole lot here. Wing flat. Edge. Oh my goodness, there are so many pieces here. Armor. Air brakes. Landing gear doors. Wheel, motor. Well, just flat edge. Rounded edge. Pointed edge. Okay, don't need gyros. Okay, we're definitely going to need that. We're also going to need... Okay, I'm not going to worry about wheels or anything. Oh my, this is going to get... Oh, this is going to get a little bit complex, I think. We're all sitting right here anyway. Needless to say, this is going to get really complicated really fast, I think. So I loaded in another of Digi's mods, which is more information, and you can see it there at the top of the screen, top right side. It's just showing me more stuff. All right. So just obviously there's going to be a lot of experimentation here as I figure out how all of this works. Um, no better place than the present to start. I'm back in that one vanished. Six by 1 by 5. Alright, so gotta change to my Tiger Orange here. Oh, you know what? We're gonna turn that off. We're gonna turn N on, which is our mirroring, and then see what we can do here. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. We just have to figure out, so I'm going to try number 8 here, which is these flat parts. Flat, 1 by 1 by 1. That's exactly what I wanted. Go back in here, so I'm not sure what the wing fill. So that may be and then we'll put another block there. So one of the other things that we are ultimately going to have to figure out here is propulsion. There is currently one oxygen hydrogen generator inside here. So one of the things I kind of need to do is how am I doing cargo? What do I actually need for cargo? It's a bomber, so really all I would need is enough cargo space for ammunition, and the missile payloads are going to be independent. So unless we attempt to incorporate some type of dare I say generation system, which is to say that missiles are actually going to generate on the wings here, under the wings, and I don't know that I'm prepared to do that level of design engineering at this point, just because welders, as you know, are a 3 by 3 block in small stuff. So short of maybe having a projector that could load up a particular missile, which may actually be an option. We may be able to do that. So you know, have 6 or so projectors under here that that load up the missiles and then fly through a welder or over a welder and effectively reload. That may be an option. Gee, let's get back into cargo. We're going to put a medium container into here. Why a medium container? Because I think we need something as far as container goes, and secondly, we need how much container space do we need? The other side is hydrogen, so clearly I'm going to need some form of hydrogen here, or hydrogen storage, so a hydrogen tank, which well, I guess a hydrogen tank is just a hydrogen tank, isn't it? It's really not. So let's turn that sideways. Alright, so not a very pretty build by any means. So, how is our symmetry so far? So my first inclination is to say, okay, these wings are about 45 degrees here. My first inclination is, given the size of the fuselage here, is to go one more wing width here. So let's go with this one. Let me go in here, and then I believe we were on number 7. Turn that off and add that in there. Alright, and then we'll go up here and look one more time. Alright, so that I think is a little bit better, a little more symmetrical in what we're wanting to do. I'm not sure how to do the wingtips just yet, and I also want to see how do these air brakes actually work. So I need to get in close here and see, okay, the air. So what I'm wondering here is how the air brakes actually do what they do. Freeze. So I don't know if I'm putting these in the correct way. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to plain air brake. We're going to air brakes. It gives a whole new meaning to air brakes. I worked my way through college a couple decades ago now. Wow, I just totally dated myself, didn't I? Driving a semi. For those of you over in Europe, a lorry. Air brakes. Interesting double definition of something there. Okay, I don't think we need to have those anyway, but what I want to do is open these things. Oh, wow, look at the graphics there. Okay, so those should have top and bottom. Those are cool. Those are neat. Alright, okay. Alright, so air brakes will close. And then we kind of have to figure out what we're going to do on the back side of these. I think we'll do well, possibly another set of air brakes, and then 8 as another portion of wings here. And what I want to do is see if I can find a piece that will I think that one will be fine. And there's an arrow pointing to the outside there, so the forward portion here, I don't know if this is going to be, oh, look at that. We could use that one and change our angle. Make this kind of a delta wing kind of a thing. Okay, add a few more blocks here. Add one more of those. 7. And I think we're done with that. So then we want to, I know we have like flaps and everything, and I don't really know if the game deals with flaps or not. So that's a leading edge, given the arrow. So 6. So the question is how to finish up. So clearly I want to use those, but let us look. Okay, so I placed the hydrogen tank on there. Do I need a second hydrogen tank to make this look symmetrical? Let's hold on that idea for now. G. Let's try G again. All blocks. Tip, rounded half. Curved inside rounded. Corner, tip rounded half. Well, let's, I think, okay, we're definitely done with the medium container, so let's see, roll back down to the bottom here and see the different tip B rounded half, tip A rounded half. Well, we've got both tip A and B, right? Oh, that one might be both. So we might not need to pull that one in. I hope not. I love these staged pieces here. Wingtip. Huh. don't know that we have one that's really applicable. If we put this one on, we could actually change its color and make it look like a aircraft warning light or something. But I think instead we're just going to leave it the flat, and let's go. Question is, do I want to put more brakes in? And I think I do, just because I think they're cool. I really like the shape, how they did the air brakes. So come back in here. We will grab the rest of these air brakes. Whoops. And add them in. So that was a click on the first one. Let's do that again for you. Click on the first one. We're going to roll all the way down here, hold shift, click on the last one, roll back up here, click on air brakes, which will then bring up the group. When we save, all those ones that we just shift clicked will now be a part of the group. So save, part of the group. Toggle and toggle, which will take it off our screen there so we don't have to look at them. Alright, so these are going to be ammo containers. So cargo ammo. Or we remove them because we now have a medium container. How do we do that? Or we leave these 5 in the front. Get rid of everything else. Do we really need these 5 in the front? It is close in, so maybe we will do that. So I'm going to use that block. We're going to delete back to here, then delete, delete, and delete. Alright, 0, we're going to come back up here. Okay. 5. Alright, one of the things I want to do, just because I like being consistent, block internal. I want to see how I name these. So cargo, small, fuel ice. So to be consistent, we're going to call these cargo, small, oops, we've got a dash, small, ammo, 01, delete. And Control C. Control A, Control V, 2. So there's 5 of these. So Control A, Control V, number 3. Click, click, click. Control A, Control V, number 4. Control A, Control V, number 5. All right. So not exactly the safest place to put an ammunition magazine, but you know what? Hey, if this thing gets pummeled, then it's going to have other issues anyway. All right, so ammo containers. What else do we want to do here? So we have the ammo container up there, up top side there. Go ahead and go to number 1. We have a light armor block, so we're going to go ahead and put light armor blocks in here. And I think we're going to go ahead and put them down the center here. Do I really need to do anything else here? Now, technically, I could cheat a little bit and put so this intermediate wing block, I don't know if it actually provides lift or not. I don't think so. But it's probably just a very light piece of something. The question is, do we actually want a little bit of armor underneath this? And I think we do. So 0 back to 1, and let's go ahead and actually put armor in here. Okay, so that has already a conveyor. I'm going to leave that. That is, in fact, going to be my redundant. In fact, let's kind of gear up for that. Number 2. Put that there. So here's what I want to do. So because that has a block underneath it, number 2, I'm going to do a small conveyor tube. I'm going to come to here. We're going to do a conveyor and then figure out what we want to do. So this is a redundant connection in which may or may not play any role in anything. 2. We are also going to put that and that. The reason for that is, let me flip up to this side, is this here. So we are going to small conveyor tube. We're going to turn that sideways. We're going to have a elbow here. We're going to go back to conveyor tube and connect on there. Does it look silly? Yes, absolutely it does. Okay. One of the things I want to think about, consider here, is propulsion. So, let us consider putting some hydrogen thrust down here on the bottom. So let's consider. Sorry, let me use a different one. What do we have under here? Okay, that was an oops. Okay, so the only way we could easily put in hydrogen here is let's go into this particular block, and we put in a conveyor and a conveyor, and let's just run conveyors. All right, let's stop with 5. How many is enough? Great question, huh? Okay, 2. 82 kilonewtons. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0. We'll get back to our main armor page. So that covers up our gyros. I do not know if we have enough gyro. So let us we're going to go ahead and all blocks gyros we're going to add another couple gyros. So, as you remember from some of the other builds that we've done, this is probably too much gyro. Okay, so 6 gyros, which may actually be too much force, but that's fine, because you can always turn down the power on a gyro, and we just might do that. Alright, and one of the things I'm going to do here, just because I want this to look a little nicer, is I'm going to change these blocks here to be double blocks. So the first thing we're going to do, I think, is an inverted. I think that would be this, right? Huh. Do I really have any way to do that one? I guess the answer is no. Alright, well, I guess we just kind of have a jagged transition. I didn't really intend. And then, I guess that doesn't look too bad. Alright, so this is going to be the fuselage all the way back, and again, I don't know what I'm doing back here yet. So we will just kind of play it by ear, shift to the other one, and we'll do the same thing all the way back. Given the wings, if I'm in an atmospheric environment, then maybe that won't matter. Maybe 5 will be plenty. Nonetheless, let us we're going to find landing gear, and one of the things I have to do here is figure out which is forward and which is backwards. Alright, so 2 behind, 1 forward, and we'll drop that into there. Freeze for a moment there. Alright, so this is a little bit low down, which is not bad. And at some point now, we may actually move these, but I'm going to go ahead and put 2 more landing gear out here. I think we'll put them there. And that may or may not be problematic. Obviously not the most aerodynamic thing to put them there, but we're not going for the pure aerodynamics here at this point. Okay, more conveyors. So there's a gap of 5, and I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Alright, so having done that, I'm going to come back here and add a tiger stripe right down the bottom of this. A little challenging to do that on the top, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. So this one will change, and then we have a bunch of stuff back here that will change. Alright, so we have to figure out what all is happening here. Now, we may actually have to move some of those air brakes. We might have to keep the air brakes on these outer areas. So what I'm gonna do is do some investigating here. So still want one corner, and we're gonna change back to yes for now. Yes, I think we will do that. Okay, which then is going to require an inverted corner here. So ultimately I want to be on the outside of this. So I need one more set to make that happen. So inverted corner. Alright, so I will indeed need to lose this particular. How do we get rid of? Should just go ahead and get rid of those. I like them, but maybe 12 air brakes is plenty. Because I don't know actually how much difference those are going to make. Alright, 0, Control 8 will add back in our wing fill blocks, which may or may not do anything. Alright, 0, 1, and we are going to do an armor block here. Becomes another inverted corner as we build our way up. Corner, that's a corner. Alright, that does work. Wasn't sure that was going to work there. So the question is, what do we put here? Or is this just blank space? Half of me wants to put a missile up here. And if we do that, do we leave this area open? Or do we put 2 and put the missile out here? And I think that's a good idea. So slope. Corner. The question is, do we continue the slope or do we change to truly the slope? And I think we will change to true slope here. Alright, so down armor block, and what needs to go here? Let us, just for fun, 0, 8, and 2. All right, this is going to be fun. So 0, 1, light armor block, armor block. This will be we're going to do a corner there. Oops. No, we're not. Inverted corner. Okay, that looks a little bit strange. Yes, true. But here's what we're going to do here. Control 8. For the moment, we're going to get rid of. We have weapons. We have a gatling gun. All right, so we have ports for the gatling guns. We are going to arm this little puppy a little better. So now we have 3 in the front and 5 over the top, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to bore a hole right here. 2. Is that what is that? Is that just? Alright, I think that's an armor block. I'm going to do a Shift F5, which is a quick save, before I delete that block. Yep, that was, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Exactly why I hate gyros. Alright, so, so I apologize everyone, and this is going to be a little bit of a delay for the reload, but that was, I knew that was going to happen, but I tend to have, how do I say, little patience for Clang. So physics is all fine and dandy, but the sheer amount of destruction that can be caused by a gyro is silly. So if I have any complaints about this game, it's sometimes physics goes completely whacked out. Why does the gyro need to explode when it comes off of its mount? I guess because people at Keen Software House thought that would be a cool thing. Don't know of anybody who particularly likes that. Pistons, rotors, you know, all these things that could be very, very useful in the game, but are so unstable that, admittedly, it's what's driven a lot of people away from playing Space Engineers. They've just basically said, okay, when they fix the game and it's actually stable enough that we can play without it just frustrating the total snot out of us, then we'll come back to playing the game. There's some just incredible modders who have left because of just the frustrations of the game. Is it a good game? Yeah. You can certainly have a lot of fun with it. I have. I think I'm up to like 3,400, almost 3,500 hours in the game. So yeah, obviously I do enjoy it. Now, granted, that's been over the last like 3 years. So there's, you know, 1,000, 1,200 hours a year that I've put into this game. So for comparative, a full-time job is 2,080. So 2,080 hours for an entire work year. If you do the 8-hour day, 5 days a week thing. So I know some places around the world do not do that. All right. So having done that, what we're going to do is come back in here and remedy. Okay, sorry, got to get my Tiger Orange back here. So I think this is where that particular gyro was. Let me see if I can get up here in here and see. So that is a reactor and the gyro. But just because, I'm going to go ahead and delete that, which deleted the one on the other side. Oh, no, it didn't. Because mirroring. Alright, you know what? Let's take those out. We've still got the two in the center. I don't think I have created my gyro group yet. And there. So we have prevented clang. 8. So we need a gyroscope. We're going to put it in that slot because I think I'm going to need another. All right. Small conveyor, and we want this in here. I'm going to spin this just because of OCD there, and then we're going to take a Gatling gun. We're going to turn off T because that just is frustrating as snot. And then see if we can rotate this around the correct way. And embed that into there. Alright. So, short of a gun going off behind your head, or over your head, in this case. Oh, of course, I didn't turn on mirroring. So I gotta do that over here. So 2, click, click, 3, which we just make sure that's facing the right direction, which it is, and plug that in there. Alright. So, we've armed our little puppy. So this is going to be like a bomber-fighter now. Alright. Now, the question is, what are we going to do back here? we've got a lot of space. So, you know, what are we going to do? Now, were I, you know, being intelligent and thinking things through a little bit, this container here in the middle, we could actually have changed that to, well, we could have done a large container and actually put a turret on the top. Could we still do that? So, 4. Let's see what turrets look like. Just, I'm curious. So, number 8, we've got, I think we're done with the guns, so weapons, gatling turret, the gatling turret there, and then, so, cannot put that in there as is. Huh. Well, there's an interesting thought. Nope, can't do that because so the problem with the turret here is that it's a 5x5. So for me to do this here, I would have to have the extender, which nothing wrong with that. So we've got our second hydrogen tank in there. My guess is we're out of ice. All right, so G. Go back into cargo blocks. There's this thing called conveyor frame. The conveyor frame is kind of a useful thing. So a conveyor frame is a conveyor frame. It's a medium-sized conveyor, but it's only 1 block wide. Now, ideally, would be 4 small ports on the side here, but for whatever reason, you can actually find these kinds of things in the game. They are available as mods. So, all right, 0, 3, 4, which will let me select this thing again. So the question is, do we want it sideways or up and down? Which is more practical? And I think that. All right, and then we go back to toolbar 8, number 3, which is our little momentary freeze there. All right. Now, I'm not sure I like that because that's 5 wide, and that's all right. So fuel ice. We're going to turn those off. Ammo. Let's go ahead and create the cargo ammo group. Save. config off, terminal off, gatling gun. Guns forward. Let's call this guns top. Alright, so the question is, do we want to separate out forward versus top, or do we just want to have a global group called guns? I think we're just going to do a group called guns, but just because sometimes things do not select as we intend, we're going to go out, come back in, and we'll see all of the guns, and I'm going to select guns and see if it did indeed select them all, which it did. Alright, so this guns forward can be deleted, and this guns top can be deleted, and guns should still be what it is, which we're going to do a toolbar config swap and a toolbar config, or a show block and terminal off. Alright, hydrogen tank. Hydrogen tank number 1, hydrogen tank number 2. If I really wanted to get OCD here, then this is the forward tank, this is the aft tank. Hydrogen thrusters, because all we're going to have on this thing is hydrogen thrusters, we're just going to call them thrusters. And toggle off, toggle off. Get rid of those things, because we don't really need them. Interesting, we have a landing gear 2 and a landing gear 3 twice. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a 1, 2, and 3. The reason I don't put wheels on this is because I still don't like wheel physics. Wheels just randomly blow up. They break, but they can't parking brake. I mean, it's all these really silly things that I think make wheels frustrating. Are they useful? Yes, absolutely. Do they work how most players think they should? Not even close. Alright, so this one's the same thing. Toolbar config off and terminal off. Get rid of those things because we really don't need them. Alright, gyros. Let's go ahead and put our gyros back in now that we have placed those guns where we wanted them. So we'll go back down here. We've got our gyros already on the toolbar. I'm gonna face those in a direction that I like. Sorry, let me delete that one. We're gonna turn on mirroring, and then we're gonna put those in. We're going to go to bar number 1. And we're going to put these blocks back in. Alright, so here's what we have so far. We have a pretty large delta wing fighter. Wow. That looks kind of, might be a little too wide at this point. Should have quite a bit of lift, though. I'm wondering if maybe this looks like I don't remember the F designator, but the Phantom might have been the F9 or F10 Phantom. It was one of the first fixed delta wing fighters. Kind of looks that way. Sure, I think we lost some of our symmetry here, but don't know. What can we do? So I guess we just need to block all this in, right? And armor around the center of our bomber. slope. And a slope. Oh, I can't put the slope there. Alright, so this becomes an inverted corner. Ultimately a slope, 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 block, block, and a corner here. Okay, so I didn't actually didn't want to have those tanks exposed like that, but it is what it is. Alright, so use of space. I'll let you guess what I'm going to put here. What else would fit in a 2 by 3 by 3 space? And conveniently enough, what I have not yet put onto this build. I'm wondering if I came out too far here. I wonder if we should put these in here, starting here. So we have this 45 degree and then a slope back to the back. I wonder if that would improve our symmetry. Because at this point it just looks like there's a little too much wing versus fuselage here. Another question. Is there a way to make a dual wing look nice? Alright, so 6. So we already kind of looked here and discovered that this would turn this into a diamond wing. this there. See that? Okay, and I'm thinking a sharp inward angle. Like this. Same one. Not quite as aggressive of an angle, huh? So let's, I think we'll use that one. Alright, so what did this do for our symmetry? Yes, much improved, I think. So the question is, what do we do here? Is there a piece? So, given the number of pieces we have, the change in symmetry so we go from a 2 to a 5, huh? Ideally, I think I would like to have that one in the center here. I hope this is going to get me in trouble. Probably not. Alright. Alright, so just looking at things here. I've got some voids I need to do something with, and I think I'm going to, oh, that's not what I wanted. Sometimes I really hate this game. If it would just delete what I wanted it to delete instead of other stuff. Right, so lock. I have no idea what I screwed up there. So, oh, 0, back to number 8 and 6. So it's really a matter of figuring out what piece do we want to put in here. So we had a so we could actually put that there. Doesn't really work. Doesn't really work. The reason it doesn't work is because that battery is sticking out there. So really, ideally, if we're gonna do this, then what I need to do is take that off. 6. Put this. I'm going to try that. Nope, needs to be out at least one more. So out there, which would then let me put another slope in this center, or in fact just plain fuselage in the center. Alright, and then I think a single piece here, which is like that, or 2. Should we put 2? Here. All right, so what we are going to do, straighten out right, so I need a piece there. Back to number 6, so this can go on here. And then we're going to do that really short, like this. Then we are going to do the review and see how does this look. The question is, do we want that slope in at the edge, or do we want to come back like we were? Maybe at this point we just try it and see what happens. Alright, back to 7s. I think we were using these. And 8. So obviously we're going to cut pieces out as we work this here. We just need a surface to attach onto. I think we were using those. Alright, so if we're going to do that, we have to figure out how to get from that one back one more. So how do we do that? Get 3's out. So we have, that's a 1, that's a 2, a 3. So that's a 3, and a 6, 5. Alright, maybe do, take that off, put that one on, reverse this, so let's shift. Let's cut in kind of a wing here. I don't know if I like that. Alright, we removed a bunch of these pieces. So what was I going to do? Let's see if we can figure out a way to mesh this up with this. I think the only way that we can do that instead of a 3, let's try a 4. We have the blocks. There's a 5x3 and then a 5x6. I can use that. I can work with that. 6. That's just a little too funky for you. We're going to change one more thing. So 6. We're actually going to put think we have fixed a few things. I think that's much improved. The question is, do we want to do anything else? I still think having 2 missiles up top there would actually be kind of interesting. Whether we actually do that or not, I don't know. But we are at about an hour and a half now, which was a half hour longer than I intended. So let's stop here, and then we will continue with part 3. So this is Kenty Tiger signing off, and we will see you next time.